Hey, it's Robin Lavasser. Welcome back to Mom Boss Monday. Let's talk about a taboo subject, money. Why do we work, right? Why do we have children and go to work? Well, let's be honest, kids require a whole bunch of money. But regardless of that, money isn't everything, right? But money is a tool. And the moment I stopped seeing money as an emotional object that dictated what we had to do in order to have it, money became a tool that was simply tactical, that my husband and I could approach what our game plan was as a family with an understanding of how much of that tool we needed to create the life we wanted. I hope that makes sense to you. So let's talk a little bit about what that even looks like. The first piece would be transparency. So many people don't want to discuss money. And I know that because I do home loans and I literally ask them, how much do you make? And you would be shocked at how many people are like, I'm not really sure. You guys, we go to work for a living and we don't know how much we're paid. That's a little nutty, right? And so just having a better understanding, which sometimes doesn't take rocket science, right? It simply takes transparency in understanding the numbers. So, hey, I make this much money a month, which means after taxes and benefits and all those other things, assuming that you're, just an everyday W-2 employee, I take home this much money. Out of this much money, what does it take to live the life that we want to live? Now, you'll hear me, there are two separate pieces to this. One is identifying your survival number. And so your survival number is the amount of money that you need to simply live. That's survival. So it's making your basics, your food, your shelter, right? Gas, car, insurance, things you can't ultimately live without. And then you have your stuff number. So two different things, right? And so at the very beginning for John and I know we needed to simply survive. And when you're in survival mode, the emotions run 10 times higher. Everything feels a little more obligation based versus choice. Does that make sense? So survival mode creates an emotion that you need it in order to put food on the table, in order to keep that house that you're living in, whether you're renting or buying, right? Like in order to buy the baby diapers or sign your kid up for Little League and pay the fees, whatever it may be. Survival mode becomes something that can add stress if you don't understand your numbers. That's also where debt accumulation comes in. So people end up going into massive amounts of debt simply because they didn't understand what they monthly were bringing in versus monthly what they need to spend in order to survive. We see it every day in mortgage, but nobody ever talks about it. I don't know about you guys, but I was raised in a way that amazing parents, but we never talked about money. Such an awkward subject for people. And when I realized money is just money, it's kind of like weight, right? You either weigh what you want to weigh, or you weigh too much, or you weigh too little. And so how do you adjust? How do you make it fixed? I know it sounds very simple, but it really is very simple. What gets clouded is our emotion, right? I have to go to work today because I need the money, but my kid is sick, so I feel incredibly guilty and like I'm letting it down this way. And all of a sudden, work becomes this demon. And then kids become a burden in some ways. Or you blame yourself and you start to feel inadequate. And that's a dangerous place to be. So what I will tell you is that step one to this, we're going to kind of do a mini series on this about money. I want to talk about empowerment around transparency. And so do yourself a favor, friends and family, share this video, take a look at what you bring home every month, and then look at what your bare minimums are. How much do you owe that electric company every month without fail? Average it out a little bit. Hey, this is how much it is. Cell phone, let's call it a life necessity because ultimately we all know that it basically is, right? How much do you need to put gas in your car on the average, groceries, and put that all on paper and then look at what you're bringing home and see if you're living within your survival number. Writing it down is a tool that will change your life and it will empower you to see work as part of that tool to make more money and to achieve the life that you want. It'll also make you realize what you want to provide to your children and how much money you need in order to do that. And that will make you a better mom boss. We'll see you next week.